Okay, I'm back out here and I'm getting the soil bed leveled out. I've tilled in the pre-plant with my little mini cultivator there. And now I'm just coming down through here. I'm leveling it out. I made this board. Now, a lot of people, and I think even the book says, to level your beds right to the top of the 2x4s. I don't have quite enough soil to do that. So I notched it down. The thing is I'm growing on top of some really nice loose soil that's all mixed in with this peat moss. So really, I'm growing down in the ground. So I'm not going to worry about being right at the top. That's me, not necessarily the way the Mittleider method tells you to do it. And I don't want to claim to do things and have a pure Mittleider garden when I don't. Because you should always follow the book for the best results. Unless you're me, and I kind of do a few things my own way now and then. So basically I'll just go down through here and get this all leveled out and skim it with this board. And then I will be ready to mark off my 8-inch spots and put my potatoes in the ground. What I do is I rake this back, and then sometimes it'll miss a spot, or there'll be a low spot. Take some Doyle, throw in front of it, rake it back again. And as you get extra soil, you can get the garden rake or use your hands to kind of keep pushing it in. And yeah, I am stepping into beds a minimal amount as possible, but I'm doing this by myself. And it's a wide bed, so I kind of have to step in the bed to do it right. Ideally, you wouldn't compact the soil down any more than you needed to, but it is what it is. Okay, I'll be back when I'm ready to start marking and getting the taters in the ground. Hey folks, okay, I've got the soil bed as level as I can get it here. The leveling is real important for how the water distributes and distribute nutrients correctly in the Mittleider system. So you want to make sure your beds are level if at all possible. So it's a lot more work than you think. I am now going to go and start cutting my seed taters and getting them ready to go in. And I'll show you how I do that. Hey folks, okay, I'm ready to start cutting my potatoes. I'm basically going to cut them where they have multiple eyes, then dip them in the sulfur, and then they'll be ready to plant. Can you hold this, Wesley? Hold this and show the potatoes. Hold it as steady as you can and show me cutting the potatoes. So I see this potato here, it's got an eye or two down here. So I can cut it right across here. That gives me an eye. Then I've got a good eye here and an eye over here. So what I'm going to do is come in. I need a sharper knife. Come in here. And we'll just cut right through here. Maybe. And now I basically have got 3 seed potatoes out of 1. Are you filming this?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'll do is I'll take and I got some sulfur here. And what I'll do is I'll just take and I'll put a little bit of sulfur powder over the cut. Kind of rub that over all the edges. Get rid of the extra. Help seal that up and keep disease hopefully from getting into it. And I'll sit that over here in the wheelbarrow. And it'll be good to go. Now I'll do the next one here. You can see I'll just tip it in. Make sure I get a good coating. Sulfur powder over the whole bottom of it. And that one will be ready to plant. And this one as well. I don't see any other good eyes, so I can't cut that one any farther. Here we go. Now we got 3 of them ready to plant off of that one. So that's all there's going to be. I'm just going to go through the rest of these and do it, and then I'll come back when we're ready to actually get them down in the garden. Thanks. Okay folks, I've got my seed potatoes all cut and sulfured up on the edges. So I'm going to have more than enough to do this. So what I've done is I don't have the big fancy plant marker like they show you how to build in the book. Just have a board with 8-inch increments marked off on it, and I'm going to do alternating rows of 8 inches. I'm going to plant them 1.5 inches deep, and what I have is just a garden stake with 1.5 inches measured on it. And then I'm just going to go down through here and get them all put in. Hey folks, okay, so this side here is planted. This side here I'm getting ready to plant. I just wanted to show you how I do the holes. So the holes are 8 inch. Every 8 inches there's a hole, but then we alternate to opposite rows for potatoes. So they're not side by side. This is what they call the 8-inch alternating pattern. You go every 8 inches, but you alternate to different sides of the row. So there's 2 rows per side. Or if you had an 18-inch Mittleider bed, it would just be 2 rows. But we treat this as like 2 Mittleider beds on the 4-foot with a little airspace down the middle. So now what I'll do is just set my seed potatoes in here, and then I'll come back and plant them. Okay, so the potatoes are in the holes. I still have to cover them, but I'm 3 short. So I've got 3 store-bought potatoes that I kept back, and they're just starting to grow some eyes. And I believe these are probably Kennebecs since they're a commercial variety. It's real common for this size potato. So I'm just going to go ahead and plant those. And basically you want them about 1.5 inches under the ground. Cover them up. That'll be a little experiment. I see so many people say, oh, commercial potatoes have chemicals on them so you can't grow them. They're growth inhibitors, and they do put something on them, I think, to inhibit the eyes from growing, but they do always grow eventually. It slows the process down. But we'll see what happens if they're as prolific as the others. Just to see. I'm just curious. And I was short on the others. So I do the same thing here basically. You take your potato, get about 1.5 inches under the soil, and just cover it. And I'll go down through here and do all of these. Now the ones that have these big long sprouts, I'm careful not to break the sprouts off, but what I'll do is make kind of a bigger hole and kind of try to get the sprouts about 1.5 inches under as well, like so, without breaking them, and then cover the whole thing. I guess that didn't come out on camera too well. Let me do another one here. See, this one's got some sprouts, so I'll kind of make a bigger hole, and I'll make a bigger hole, and then I'll point the sprouts to the inside of the bed and cover that guy up. See that one sprout's still sticking out? I'll go ahead and tilt him a little more and get him under the ground. Just basically make a hole. I try to put the sulfur side down if I can, but sometimes it's just, you can't really get it as down as you'd like. This one has a big long sprout, so I'll make a hole for him, make a little trench for his sprout, get him in there, kind of get his sprout a little buried there. And that's basically the process I'll do for all of these, and then I'll get them watered real good, and we'll see what happens. Okay folks, I'm going to go ahead and water these in. Got my little watering wand. This thing was like $10 at Lowe's, I think, but it puts a nice soft, gentle spray of water down, and we'll give these a nice good soaking in here, get them all good and wet, and then we're planted. We'll put some caution tape and some little stakes around the bed sides of this garden to help keep the dogs from running through it. But that's about it. Alright. Alright folks, the potatoes are planted. Um, they've been watered in. I put up this caution tape around the sides. I just screwed some stakes onto the sides, put some caution tape up, and that's just to keep the dogs from walking through there. I mean, they can easily bust through this if they wanted to, but once they see something beside the garden, they'll just walk around. Same as with the other gardens, as soon as strings went up and they didn't have a clear path through there, they just stayed out of it. So I'm hoping that this will keep them out from digging in there and walking through that soft soil and messing up the taters. And that caution tape stuff, so you get a big giant roll for like $9, and it lasts forever. But they're planted, and I'll keep you guys updated and as they start to sprout and how they're doing. We'll see what happens. Alright folks, this is Tom, your Frugal Prepper. I'll talk to you later.